Greg took us to Street League, man, and I met Rob Deerdeck. That guy was, you could talk to him because I've only seen him on the show, Rob and Big, and you see his like outgoing personality and how loud he is, but he was just like real calm, soft spoken, and very like level headed. Like the guy was, to the point. I asked him a
Rob,
few
you're
questions.
talking about.
Yeah, Rob Deerdeck. Yeah, because I was just starting my bodybuilding journey at that time, and I told him, yeah. He asked me, so what do you do, man? What are you passionate about? I'm like, hey, Rob, I just got into bodybuilding. Maybe you'll hear about me someday. I'm just trying to just do the work, put my head down, and just keep at it. He's like, dude, that's all you got to do. Just keep going. Don't stop. I was like, shit.
That makes him even more interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
he was because that guy, he started Street League. He did the Fantasy Factory. I mean, he's got all these sponsorships with all these different brands, and he's built himself from nothing. I mean, he was a good skater. He was definitely not the best professional skater, right? But he figured out what his strengths were. He was a hardworking guy. Like he would not quit. He just worked. And I mean, that's where he is. Greg's very much like that, man. I've seen Greg. We've had some heart to hearts in the steam room up there. It sounds kind of funny, but we've had some good deep conversations. He used to tell me about like how difficult it is because we would all see this. We always see the starlights. We always see the shit that people have, but we don't necessarily see the process that it took to get them there.
I think that's a huge problem in our culture and society, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So, it's just kind of seeing that whole culture. To me, skateboarding was like, these guys are real putting in some work, man.
Yeah. All that you see, all the bubbly, bubblegum, Hollywood thing on the screen and their charismatic personality, that all came so easy, but a lot, and I'm sure it did maybe for some of them, the Kardashians, whatever, but guys like what you're, and you know what? The Kardashians are probably super hardworking behind the scenes too. But yeah, a lot of those people work really hard.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe not. That doesn't register with everybody. I'm guilty of that too.
I mean, I've been more of a balance at this point. In my life, I've tried to figure out that what is it that's valuable to me at this point in my life that I want to pursue. And to me, right now, more balanced is good. Like I've pushed myself to the red when I tried bodybuilding as like a real passion because I genuinely thought, let's see what happens when you push yourself to the red and be super optimized and planned with your day, very methodical. Like everything is a checklist, waking up at the same time, going to bed at the same time. Every meal is at the same hour of the day. Every single workout is planned. Everything is written down in a journal, every set, every rep, every mood that I felt, I would journal, how I felt that day. So I was trying to like optimize myself. There's a lot of self-awareness going on there. But, part of me is just starting to realize, and you and I talked about this off the podcast, maybe we can get into it now, is like, I genuinely was having the same problems of introspection of what is it that I'm trying to do here? Why am I here? What do I want out of my experience of life? Is this all that I want? Or why am I so strongly identified to this? What happens when I get older? So things kind of just started to turn. Like I was finding an identity. We're talking about the bullying and stuff. Growing up, we're all looking for some way to fit in so that way we can take that and let that be our path forward and our motivation to get up in the morning and do something. And I think I picked those things along the way, but now I've been more of the balance. Like you have to do that, but you also have to sit and appreciate and enjoy your life for what you have today. Because if you keep striving to do better and better and better, you're constantly judging yourself that I'm not here where I'm supposed to be. I'm not here. And that becomes very toxic. And that is a manifestation of a lot of what we're seeing, with people that are just chasing money and just chasing success. I made a shitload of money when I was too young, like I would say I'm more fortunate than most people at my age. Comparatively, I know it's not.
You're still very young.
A lot of money, but it was still, more money than I've ever made in my life.
When was this? And what were you doing
23, 24, I started making six figures being an engineer, man. Like I didn't know shit about engineering. And I just told you I was like kind of a creative person, not very logical thinking anyway. So like all the engineering coursework was very difficult for me to get through. But I had the mindset because I was a bodybuilder at the same time. I had the mindset I could do whatever it takes to get the result. I figured that out. To a fucking point. If I want to do something, you can't fuck with my game. Like I will get there. It'll take me my time, but I will get there. You can't outwork me. So I have that ego. I can get there, but I realize that ego is very damaging too. Like it doesn't always fulfill you. It doesn't always satisfy you. And it also harms your other relationships.
It can be very damaging.
Absolutely.
Right?
You know, and that was kind of like the thing. I was becoming too, I always had this inside.
But it doesn't have to be. It's like, I feel like you can almost use it as a tool and
it's a tool in your toolbox, right? And
right.
but you have to have some level of understanding that you are not these identities, these profiles that you are so strongly, into. Like I am an engineer, or I am a bodybuilder, or I am this, like
I couldn't agree more.
Those are all just
none
very,
of that has to be your essence, who
yes,
you are.
for sure.
I feel like that's another big problem. Like we try to put each person in a box, and we try to put ourselves in a box.
This is all there is
in
to
order
it.
to be okay and feel good about yourselves. Like, I made it. I am an engineer. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And then you wind up maybe miserable, and you may be on antidepressants,
And now you can't
antipsychotics, like
fight
so
away
many
from
people,
that.
because it's like, this is my identity. This is when people, ask me, hey, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
I get to feel good because I say I'm an engineer, but deep down, when I'm sitting at the desk looking at this stuff all day, every day, it doesn't make me feel good.
Exactly.
And maybe I wind up miserable.
That's exactly, you hit the nail right on the head. That's exactly what was happening. And I started to just focus on my strengths, man. Like, I was good at always being energy full, like, you were as a kid. And I knew that my strengths were to be around people. So I try to put myself in situations where I could be interacting with people. And that's what I do now. And that's what made me want to start this podcast too, is because I'm realizing that I want to get really good at speaking and communicating with people. I want to make that
awesome.
My life goal, is to be able to talk to somebody and move them and make them feel love.
This is a perfect avenue for that.
And I thought this would just be practice, just like you're in the gym doing your reps and sets. This is just reps and sets, baby. Let's keep it going.
You keep going back to that, and I couldn't agree more. And I've met quite a few people throughout my life that have that same respect for not even bodybuilding, but just weightlifting. And like using that thought process of getting like pretty serious about weightlifting and then applying it throughout their life to other parts of their life. Like, it really does give you a tremendous amount of confidence, I would say. Like, when you get into weightlifting and then you get to see the results after staying dedicated to something for 6 months or a year.
Yeah, because it doesn't happen quick.
No. Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard work.
It's pain.
And it's like, yeah, exactly. It's pain. How important is pain?
Valuable.
Because there's no pleasure without it, right?
You have to know the polarity. You have to know the pain to enjoy
But you can't do all pain.
Yeah.
If you keep doing all pain over and over, then you might wind up messed up or depressed.
Exactly.
Or
That's what I was
with
with the ego that was forming internally, and the conflict there is what was happening. It's like, I knew that I have a powerful tool, but I got to slow down and really reassess life. I still have a lot more to figure out. You've really just channeled yourself into one thing.
Yeah, and you were so young.
Yes.
You were so young. Like we hear, there's no manual. We don't really learn anything of substance when we're in grammar school.